Either a new kind of giant worker we haven't seen before, but I don't think so. So does somebody else want to start doing this, and I'll make a judgment on a frame at a time. I think you'll remember it better if you're actually doing something hands-on here.
So we want the cap brood over here.
Yeah, the cap goes over there, open goes over here.
And are they going to build their own queen, or you're going to give them a queen?
I'm going to let them make their own queen.
But from cap brood,
Well, there's always some open brood.
So that's enough of
it's impossible to not have some open brood in there. But I'll make sure there's at least a little bit of open
A few
brood.
eggs.
But I wouldn't even have to work at it. I'm pretty sure there'll be open brood in there. Because these are all going to be part of this and part of that. It's just what are they more of? Now see, there's a lot of open brood right there, and there's a lot of cap brood right there.
And then the
Almost.
other side is mostly capped.
Yeah, so it's a little more capped than open, so we'll put it with the cap brood. But I'm sure there's an egg in there somewhere.
Is there an excluder, or should we be looking for the queen at some point? Or
Yeah, we should be looking for the queen.
Okay.
every frame.
Yeah, we probably should be looking for the queen on that. Why don't I look real quick too?
And this is considered a walkaway split?
No. Well,
cut down.
yes and no, but what we're doing is a cut down split that happens to include a walkaway portion of it. I mean, a walkaway just means I'm going to let them raise a queen. And yes, I'm going to let them raise a queen. But a walkaway, I'd usually just do it by the box. I'd just put with 8-frame mediums, I'd put a bottom board and a bottom board and say one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you, and walk away. That's the whole concept of a walkaway split, really.
Oh, really?
We're doing a lot more work than a walkaway split, but we are letting them raise their own queen.
I want to know where. I'd want to know where the queen. I think.
And so you're calling it a cut down split because
Cut in half?
Because you're going from 4 brood boxes to 1 or 2 brood boxes. Probably 2 brood boxes. You're cutting the number of brood boxes in half. That's the cut down part. And then you're crowding them up into the supers to get them to make more honey.
You have 4. Are these are 8-frame?
Yes, these are 8-frame mediums.
Could you do this? Let's say you're in this early spring and you have 2 deeps. Do you need? Is that?
Yes, that'd be perfect.
That'd be fine. Okay.
Two deeps full. That would be just right. That's the same amount of bees.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look for the queen real quick. I really didn't spend that much time looking, and I probably should have. I want to make sure I don't miss her. So. Okay, so we'll pull the next frame out, decide what it is, and then look for the queen.
Okay.
Find a queen.
I didn't see any queen on there, but.
Okay, I got open brood on this side. I got capped brood on this side, so it's about 50-50 really. One side's all open, and the other side's all capped. So this could kind of go either way. So actually I may set this one aside again. It'll be one of those that I could put in either one. Because it never comes out even when I get all done.
why do you want to keep the open brood with the old queen?
Because I'm trying to maximize foragers in the old location. So if they have no brood to take care of, then all of the emerging bees get recruited as foragers. If I have open brood in there, then they get recruited as nurse bees, and they spend all their time being nurse bees. So what we're doing is, bees tend to do this anyway on their own. I mean, they tend to have a focus. Like, so during the early spring, especially from April on till about now, they're really focused on building up. They're building up the population. Then they decide, are they going to swarm, or are they going to try and put away honey? And if they decide they're going to swarm, then they start backfilling the brood nest, and now their focus is swarming. So what we want to do is create a colony. Their focus is putting away honey, and another colony, and their focus is just getting back on their feet.
Okay.
Okay, so the foragers will come back over here.
Right.
And they're bringing food for the cat brood.
There's no cat brood doesn't need to be fed.
I mean,
so they're not. They're just putting away nectar.
Okay. And we're gonna in the new location is where the honey and pollen will go.
Yeah, we'll give them honey and pollen because they have no foragers, so they're gonna need it. That's why we're giving it to them.
This is the hive that will be focused
one
on
that'll
honey
make honey.
production.
Yeah, this is the honey production.
And this will be the one focused on just building back up.
Yeah, so their two goals here will be getting a queen and making honey.
This says
There-
honey and pollen. Do you want it down here or nectar and pollen?
Yeah, probably. Let me look and see if I see queen for sure. Just don't want to miss her. If everybody would be sure you look for a queen and I look for a queen, maybe we'll be reasonably sure of not.
So it's interesting, they have to make a queen,
Mm-hmm.
but also because they have so many unemployed bees until she's laying,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they'll just make honey.
yeah, bees don't sit around.
Be
there.
gathering nectar.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
just be gathering nectar.
So this is mostly nectar and pollen here. So we're going to give this to the new patient. So I'm going to put that in there.
Got it.
And every one of these we need to keep looking for the queen because we want to find her and put her over there.
We just start passing out frames.
Sure. So what you want to do with this frame is look at it and decide, is it honey, nectar, pollen, open brood, cap brood?
Yep.
And then based on that, what box does it go in?
It's all nectar and pollen.
So that's going to go in the new location.
Lots of queen cups. Look at the bottom of this.
Yeah,
Is that a queen up right there? I mean, was that
well,
this one?
that one, it probably is, yeah.
Or was?
Are they all open? That's,
It's possible that this is the hive that swarmed and they just bounced back this fast, but I don't think so. Yeah, so that would go in the new location. I don't see anything.
Yeah, this is
What's
all,
that one? Just nectar?
This is all nectar.
Yeah.
So
Why don't we, just to help these guys out, put the nectar at one side and put the open brood at the other side so we don't break up all the open broods so it's all kind of together where they can keep it warm.
since this is
So
100%,
yeah, that one's nectar, so move it over here to the center one.
since this is
And that other
100%
one's
nectar,
open.
I'm not really looking for the queen that hard because she's just really not going to be here, right? I mean, I'm looking. I mean, plus there's so few bees, it's pretty obvious to see her.
I kind of agree with you, yes, but yeah, she should be pretty obvious anyway with that few bees, but yeah.
All right, here's
Probably, and odds are she's not there. So.
that's a honey,
But if you start thinking in terms of odds, sometimes she'll fool you and then
just to spite you.
yeah, wishing it was different. So we got more of the same. Now these are all actually honey supercell. I can tell because they're fully drawn plastic and they've got spacers on them. It's going to be hard to get the first one out, but well, they're all except two permacomb. It looks like. This is going to be hard to get this first one out. Once we get the first one out, it'll be easy enough, but this first one's going to be tough because those spacers go like all the way to the bottom and they're glued.
With that little blue handle tool help?
I don't know. It's just they're glued all the way down. There we go. That's the same over here. After we get the first one out, it'll be all right. But this first one's going to be a tough one. You want to push on that a little?
I do have one of these sharper hive tools if that would
Might help.
be better in this application.
Once we get this first one done, it'll be all right.
Yeah, he's making progress.
Kind of wish it wasn't a whole box full of this. It would be nice if it was one frame of something else on the end here. Because part of the problem is the spacers go all the way to the bottom. Where on a normal frame, they don't go all the way to the bottom. They just go down a couple inches.
Oh my
That one went.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone out.
This thing went. Probably out now. Don't do this in a dry bee yard.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Just thought I'd mention that since I'm trying to teach you. I thought that over before I did it, is what I'm saying. Because that might still be lit. These bees are in a good mood for considering the day. I didn't think they'd be in this good a mood. So I'm not going to complain.
Maybe it's a drone. I thought I seen the queen from the distance.
What do you got?
Well, you won't be the only person who's ever done that.
Honey and nothing. You see the queen?
I think it's a drone. Yeah.
Any of
I
you
got
guys want to come around?
mostly open brood here, it looks like. And then I got mostly cat brood here.
Cinderella, you want to get one?
Yeah.
Want one? Anybody?
Look for the queen on it?
Look for the queen and look for whether it's open or capped.
So this is a mostly nothing burger.
Well, then we could probably go anywhere with it, so let's just set it aside like this again.
Wonder if you wait till the end and whichever one needs it more.
This one has a lot of open in it.
Yeah, I think it's about 50-50.
Yeah, well this
One side's mostly open, the other side's mostly capped.
yeah.
So it's kind of a wash.
I do not see the queen.
Like I said, it's possible we won't even find one, but
What do you want to do with this puppy?
this one's about half on one side, and it's honey and nectar on the other side. So I think I'll go for here because of the.
How about this
Honey and
one here
nectar.
with the cap? And the cap.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Let's set it aside as a could go either way one. One of the things that's different about these is, like I said, see these spacers, they go all the way down. So the fact that they go all the way down means they get glued all the way down. So they're a little harder to get apart.
Isn't that a design flaw? Or we never thought about that? They never thought when they made them?
I don't know what Max Hanby was thinking. I don't know. He's probably thinking when you're doing migratory, it doesn't swing as much. I don't know. That's usually the reason for going further down, and the reason for scalloping them is so they can get from frame to frame on the ends, where otherwise they can't go around the end very well. In fact, that was kind of the argument when Julius Hoffman came up with the spacer was, well, if you make it like this, then they can't get around the end, so then they started doing the little scallop thing to give them more room to get around while at the same time enough surface that it wouldn't swing, because that's the two you're kind of balancing out. Is when I'm driving down the road, I don't want it swinging like this and having bees getting squished in the where it's swinging, especially the queen, of course. A couple of bees, yeah.
They're
Well,
pollen.
but if it's that
Yeah.
bee, that's kind of critical.
Both are pollen sacs. Look at it on either side too. Yeah.
going in one direction. Nectar again.
Yeah, nectar. Nectar, no queen.
So that'll go over here. So we put it at this side since that's the nectar. So I'm gonna grab a frame. I got them broke loose there. Good on this. Not enough smoke for the moment.
Not this one.
So heavy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow,
Yum.
that's pretty.
See, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's two.
You take it,
Oh, it's quite heavy.
Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
all that. Wow.
which is an indication it's loaded up with nectar.
Mm-hmm. I've never used
About
this
the other side.
permacomb before. It's so interesting.
Boxes of almond nectar.
Full.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
not fruit in it, so maybe we should
Put that half
So this one's going over here.
pull those two out and move them up to the next
Lady with a
box.
frame.
Finish this one out
Be
with
all
honey.
honey.
Let's
This
pull
is a
those
pretty
two out, set them
full
aside.
frame.
for a
There's
minute.
quite a bit of capture on nectar.
Yes, I'd be happy
This is
to
solid
go
one,
get a
too.
frame and
Yeah,
then.
so
It's
finish this
going,
box
so you
out
just
with
have to
honey
hold it
just
up.
so the
Oh, okay.
brood will
Go
all
ahead and
be
get one.
together if we run into some more brood here. I don't know if we will. That may be all the brood.
So
I
these
don't
two
know.
in there.
Need a board to
Yeah.
put this on.
Or just hold on a second. We can set it right on here.
This one needs to come out.
Oh, so you're gonna be full, okay, yeah.
What- I'm sorry.
We need to pull, yeah, pull the
Come
last
out?
one
Yeah, because
Oh.
it has some brood in it.
Okay, I'm gonna hand that back to you.
This one was honey, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, just the
Only
white
one
so
needs to
just
come out
Do
is
you
that
want the
last
white
one
one
there.
out?
There.
So you want to hold that?
I can hold it.
And this one in.
Wow, that is.
Okay, now that's a permacomb. Oh no, it isn't. Go ahead. You're right. Perfect.
Well, this one's permacomb. Do you
Yeah, I
want
want. No, I would just want one with a spacer next to the
that? Oh,
permacomb.
I see.
Two permacomb in a row, and then when I'm prying a frame over, I can mash some bees, and I don't want to do that. So. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 frames. That's perfect. Let's center them a little bit. We'll put another box on. This one out of the way.
Pollen on one side, nectar on the other.
Oh, well, we'll go right there. That's all right. There's no brood.
No.
Okay. Let's put the brood on that end and the pollen and nectar on this end, like they were before. You got the brood somewhere.
I got bees over here, yep.
Let's start with this.
Let's blow it a little bit. Frame of brood somewhere?
Where's that
I
other
think
frame?
it was this one. It was supposed to.
Oh.
Well, it was put in the wrong place.
Okay.
I guess.
Alright, so
Yeah,
that
so
brood
it's
needs to come over this way.
No, that's
That's
just nectar
nectar.
and pollen.
Yeah.
Well, where's the other brood? Didn't we have two? We had two
Yeah, you
brood.
had two broods. Maybe it went in that bottom one.
No.
No one has them
I
framed
didn't
out.
have it. All I have was that nectar and pollen frame.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a figment of our
We
imagination.
have those half and half ones over there we could buy.
Here's a
Half
bunch
half.
of brood.
Oh, wow.
Mostly capped, a little bit open. And a lot of nectar thrown in around the cap, but we'll put the cap over here.
Wait, we haven't looked at the queen yet.
Well, I kind of did. I didn't look close. You're right. I glanced pretty good, though.
But I figured if there's
Aren't
anyone.
there just aren't that many bees here. So I feel pretty confident since there's not very many bees. And they're piled up too deep, then it's really hard to tell.
syrupy.
Dripping.
Wow.
Is it heavy?
Look at that, Shelly.
A little bit. What, a nectar?
Some cap right there, not much. And then what's on the other side? It's capped.
That's
See
in
what's in
nectar.
here. It's nectar.
Yeah.
Just nectar.
Little honey up here.
So this is mostly capped and some nectar. So I guess I'll put it in here because it's mostly capped. Let's make sure we got no queen on here.
Anybody else want to come over?
Nigel?
I just got one good hand.
Oh, it's just stem. It's got the right hand slightly over the knee.
We got brood on these, so we look pretty good for the queen.
I can take one, two.
Haven't seen the bees real thick though, and that's usually the indicator the queen's there, but still, she could be wandering around anywhere, you never know.
The queen is generally where all the bees are clustering around her, but on what frame will the bee mostly be on? Where she's laying, where there's open brood?
There's no telling, but there's usually more bees on the frame she's on. But
Okay.
quite often I've seen her on some drone comb just hanging out.
Oh, really?
She's taking a break. And it's a drone comb, a capped drone. I don't know why.
She's
but-
like, they'll never find me here.
This one is
yeah, it just depends on what
brood and
she's-
nectar.
if she's just goofing off or if
Okay,
she's busy
so-
laying. If she's busy laying, you usually find her where there's eggs and open brood, but
I don't see any.
sometimes she's just filling in the gaps as they emerge.
I don't see any open. There's some capped on here and nectar.
So it's backfilled.
Yes. And I'm not seeing the queens in here. A lot of some newbies. It looks like they're new.
I do.
Pick up the drone. Pick up the drone.
Okay.
Oh, there it is on the.
This is there's no open. There's some capped and some nectar.
I'll get it then.
Sorry. One there.
Oh, queen!
Really?
Yay!
Is she marked?
Nope.
Where is she?
Right by my thumb.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
She's lashing. Striped.
Wow.
But she's a little solid
yeah.
taller than the other.
I don't have anything on me but
Oh,
yellow,
my
and I don't
God.
think yellow's really appropriate.
She's snazzy. Is it yellow this year or no?
Yeah, but she's not this year's queen.
Oh,
she's
she's
last
Try to
year's
get a
queen,
picture of
probably.
the queen too.
How about
Last
a
year's
double?
what, white?
I don't know. I wasn't keeping track last year. I don't know. I just got two yellows on me, but I may mark her yellow just because I got.
I thought about another idea
I'd like
for
to be
this
able to
thing.
find her again.
Remember I was
later.
telling
Queen
you?
finder?
Yeah. Watch it when you step back. I'll tell you later.
Maybe I'll put two dots on her so I can distinguish that it means something.
A double yellow.
A double yellow, yes. 'cause I
Sideways
don't know.
brick.
I think she's on the other side.
She's on this side now?
She came around.
Maybe she's on the bottom.
There she is.
Oh, no, I got it.
There she's right there.
Yeah. Good job.
Want to turn her around?
Or just
Yeah.
hold it flat even.
Right.
Where is she up in this corner here?
Down bottom, I think.
Yeah. So she just crawled under.
Oh, there she is. Yeah.
It's on the other side.
Did you see her?
No, I can't.
Right.
I'll pick her up with my fingers
In
marked
there.
and put her in the cage.
So
Yeah,
it'll go
she's
over
at, there's a bee on
That way I
top
can,
of
I'll know
her.
where she is.
Are you going to mark
I'll
her?
know where she is. Yeah, I was going to mark her. I'm going to put two little yellow dots on her so I can tell that she wasn't really this year's, but I don't have any other color and I want to be able to spot her later.
Oh, okay.
Because I'd like to set up a fancier finisher here, but I'm not going to talk about it now. I'll confuse you all. So
I see it
Don't
looks
do
like
that.
some tails sticking out over like by my thumb.
where's
Right
that?
there. Like I just see like little black. Is that the end of the bees and they're all the way head first in there? Or?
Yeah, they've been propolized in. They couldn't get them. They died in there and they couldn't get them out easily, and they just propolized them in instead.
Okay. Yeah,
If it had been wax, they probably would have. If they were stuck in there like that, they would have just torn it down and rebuilt it. But
Yeah.
since it's plastic, they couldn't really get in there. If you ever do want to clean any of this up, This permacomb, it actually is, it'll handle 220 degrees. So you could actually power wash it. Can somebody hold that frame?
He's with the queen in his hand.
Yeah, I don't really want to put her in that cage now.
You
so-
do or you don't?
I do, yeah.
Where is she? Here.
Okay, so I got the queen in a cage here, so we'll just set it over on this frame here, and we'll just move it up the box as we fill it up. Because that's where she's going to end up. I just kind of want to know where she is right now, because then I'm going to rearrange everything here, and then we'll talk about a different thing other than a cut down split when we get done here.
Hey Jack, what were you talking about? Jack Mackerel, what were you talking about? These butts? Show me this frame here.
Oh,
I want to see it too.
Okay, back to where she
see the other side.
Oh.
See that? See right there's one. We get these turkeys out of the way. There's quite right there's two of them.
What is that?
They just got buried in there. They got stuck in there. And since it's permacomb, they can't.
They died over winter, and then
You can't get them out, so they
usually
propylized
pull
them over.
But some of them must have got stuck in there so tight they
Yeah,
couldn't get them out.
bee butt.
Huh.
That's cool.
Honey goes here, correct?
Sure.
So where do you want this one then? The brood one.
It's that one mostly
Wait, you're
capped.
putting honey on the second
Yeah.
one? I thought the honey was in the bottom.
Well, this had the queen on it.
Yeah,
but
the bottom
mostly
one's all
capped,
honey.
yeah.
This one's supposed to be honey and brood.
Oh, okay.
They just happen to have a lot more honey than open brood.
Okay, another box on that one. No, I don't care. It's alright. I may have to clean it up when I get to a permacomb one, but the other ones are too short, so maybe it'll actually help.
Yeah.
The two short ones will help, and the two long ones will be in the way, but that's the way it goes, huh? Okay, so this one's almost entirely honey, and mostly caps, but I'll set that over here, because we're putting the brood on one side over here.
Look at them all
I have
like
to decide what to
crazy.
do with some of these soon. I'm running out of space
I
to
think the second one in was the
sit
one.
around.
One of those had quite a bit of cap on it.
I got another extra box. Now, this is a very similar process for several other things you might want to do. When we set up that first cell finisher, maybe when we set up the second cell finisher, I don't think we did it as much on the second one. The first one was the work week people were here, and the rest of you weren't, but we sorted it out like this too, because it's nice, it's handy for a finisher. Especially if you want to run one in the long run, you want to run batch after batch after batch of queens. If you keep sorting them and you keep putting the queen down below, and once a week you rearrange all the boxes, pretty soon you just have whole boxes of nothing but capped, nothing but open, nothing but empty, because you just keep moving them around. So if I were to put the queen in the bottom with an excluder, well, let's say I put the honey on the bottom, just get it out of my way because I don't want to lift it, and then I have the queen. Let's say I put an excluder there, and then I put the queen here, and I put an excluder here, and then I've got open, and then I've got capped, and that's my hive. And every time I find honey, I keep moving it down here. Once a week I go in and I take what was capped up here is now emerged and it's empty. What was open is now capped, and where the queen is now open because she laid it all up. So I take this open, move it up one, I take the cap and that was the open and move it up one, and I take what was capped that's now empty, put it back down here and put the queen in it again. Now that's Marla Spivak's method of running a finisher, because then you always know where all the nurse bees are. They're on that open brood. And you have, it's all age graded, and you only have to just juggle boxes. You have to find the queen and juggle boxes once a week. And she says the queen will actually lay up a storm. The colony will actually make a lot of honey in the process because the queen's laying so much and it's so strong. and you just keep rearranging it. And basically you do the same thing we're doing right now, which is age grade it. You sort it out by open, capped, and then it ends up being empty. You put the queen on some empty comb so she can lay, and then you just keep juggling that comb around. And once you've done it a couple of weeks, it's very much age graded. You don't have a half capped and half open anymore. You have all capped, all open, all empty. Very, very distinct.
And you want to always have the empty down at the bottom.
You're always, every week when you rearrange it, you're putting the queen on the empty so she's got room to lay. You're putting the open above that. You're putting the capped above that. Just so it just keeps rotating up and then back down to the bottom and up and back down to the bottom.
And if you're doing that as a self-finisher, then you're going to put your grafted cells in the box that has the open brood, because that's where all your nurse bees
That would probably be the best place, yeah. You could probably put it anywhere and they'd probably do all right, but yeah, that would probably be the best place. But the other thing is, every time you go to start a starter to do a swarm box, you just shake off that one box of all the open brood, because that's where all the nurse bees are, and I don't really have to worry about the rest of it. For this, you see how scattered the brood was in here? I pretty much have to take this hive and shake all the bees in there, and then all the foragers come back, because I don't know where all the nurse bees are, because it's kind of scattered around a little. It kind of ran up this one side of this hive. They sort of chimneyed up about 3 boxes of brood like this, but then it was all honey over on the other side. So it kind of eliminates some of that, because it's all already graded. Now see, that's mostly just empty. I just took the fins off because I was tired of messing with fins. But I'm going to do the same on this one, because again, I don't want to mess with these stupid fins. Maybe I'll just even leave that in there. They can decide what they want to do with it.
Can't you press it down into it?
The problem is the honey keeps it from sticking very good. Otherwise it would probably work. Me smearing it around on here probably gets more honey on it than it does wax, but at least the honey, by the time they lick it off, they may decide this is clean enough to build on then. That's what I'm hoping anyway. I don't want that just smashed because it looked too much like another fin. It didn't build off of it. So that's why I kind of rolled it over there, trying to work it.
Crush the cells?
Yeah, crush it up a little bit more so they don't decide to build off of it. I kind of wanted to remove it and then build on it, is what I'm hoping for. So there's another, you know, it's just a little bit drawn and not really ready to go. It's not really anything yet. Oh, those stupid small hive beetles. I recommend, if it gives you a great sense of satisfaction, you should crush the small hive beetles, and if it doesn't, then just don't worry about it, because it won't really make any difference. But if it gives you a great sense of satisfaction, you know, life's too short, you should enjoy it. Kill them, if it makes you happy.
Dad, look at those cells that... Well, I'll wait till you turn it back over.
Well, see, this is all open brood here, and that's all
Look at the ones that
nectar
have the
there.
little openings. What
Well,
is
they
going
haven't
on
finished capping them yet. That's honey.
there? Oh, okay.
They're just not done capping it. They're working on it. They're just not quite done.
It just has the color of brood cappings, more than honey cappings.
Well, what it is they're using old wax instead of new wax. The
Okay.
bow hasn't hit yet, and that's giving it more color. And the reason it's kind of light colored is these probably have some of the dark bees in them. The Italians tend to make what they call greasy cappings, in the sense that they're wet cappings, sometimes we call them, because I got a bulge on both sides. Because they don't leave any air in them. They fill it all the way so the honey's touching the cap. The old Apis mellifera mellifera, the German black bees, they'd leave air in there, and so they have white cappings. And these are those kind of cappings with air in them. That's why they're lighter colored and kind of frosty looking instead of.
Yeah, I always
in this
think
case,
they
they're
look
yellow.
saturated and wet.
So you got a mixture of bees in here with different subfamilies, so there's no telling what they'll do. Here's Here's another one of those drone combs, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to put them over on the outside.
When they fill the cells with nectar, they have to evaporate the water content, right? And,
Yep.
and they do that just by fanning it.
Well, they do a whole bunch of things.
Oh, okay.
When a bee first gets back with a stomach full of nectar, it transfers it over to the receiver bees, and they tend to dry it a lot just in the transfer. They get it on their tongues and they get it out in the open where there's a whole bunch of surface area, and they get it kind of dried. And then the receiver bee goes and does the same thing, kind of makes a little drop on the end of its tongue and lets it dry there where it's got a lot of surface area. And they actually get a significant amount of moisture out before they ever put it in the cell.
Okay.
And then they dry it in the cell by fanning it and whatever
Okay.
to get it even drier. So they sort of do a whole bunch of things. They just keep cheating more and more water out of it as they go. So they've got several tactics they use along the way. And in some climates they never get it dry enough and they finally give up and cap it and it's too wet.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily I don't live in one of those climates, but some climates that's actually a problem.
Do
I
you,
know some
how
people
often do you have to, you know, extract your honey and it's, the percentage is too high for that you
Here?
have? Yeah.
I've never had that problem.
Never had that
But I
problem.
never do it unless it's 80% or 90% capped. But here, it's a dry climate. It just isn't a problem.
Yeah.
It would be a bigger if you have a high, climate with high humidity, it could easily be a problem.
Mhm.
So if I lived in a climate with high humidity, I would actually own a refractometer, which I've never bought.
Okay.
But because here, it just, as long as it's 80% capped, it's a safe bet.
Okay.
But I know people who live in the Caribbean and it'll be 100% capped and it's too wet.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they
we've-
can't count on it. Then
we've
they have
had
to
a
put
few
then they
jars.
have to put it in like a little box with a dehumidifier to try and pull that moisture
Or
down to where it
tent.
won't spoil.
We've had a few jars of honey that after, maybe 6 months, they kind of started to
Well,
bubble
if it-
over a little bit. Isn't
well, that's probably fermented then.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch more drone. I'm going to put it on the other outside over here. I'm not looking so hard for the queen because we found her. It's possible there's another queen in here, but I'm not. I'm being lazy and assuming there's not. The odds are in my favor, but they aren't 100%. There could easily be another queen in here. Of course, if there is, it's not really going to interfere too much with my plan.
If there were another queen, that would be because they were preparing to swarm?
No,
Oh.
it'd be because there's a mother and a daughter.
Oh, okay.
They were preparing to swarm. They would leave before the first queen came out.
Okay.
There wouldn't be two queens in there. There's a wood roach got in the bottom here. I don't know why they haven't driven that out. Kind of surprising. Lots of drones here for you guys to mark. See all those drones? I think some of you haven't made your 1,000 quota. Yeah.
I'm up to
Well, that's a permacomb and that's a permacomb, so I think I'm gonna set this one aside and try and get another one with a spacer in there first. Maybe another one with a brood here. We'll see what we find. That's mostly empty, so that could go anywhere. And this one's not yet drawn completely. It's funny how much empty stuff we found scattered through here.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Because I haven't touched this in quite some time, and yet there's all this scattered empty brood. That's mostly nectar, I guess, so I'll throw it in here. And then I can put that one in here. And then we'll try and fill this out. This is stuff that could go anywhere because it's either empty or it's...
Mix and match time.
Is that?
Mix and match.
Yeah, this is
He's
all...
not sure yet about
Oh, I thought you said you
I'll
wanted this one.
Yeah, he said you can put that one in.
Yeah, put that
Yeah.
one
In here?
right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one's number 8. So let's see if we can squeeze one more in there. Yeah, somebody see if you can squeeze all these all the way over this way and all these all the way over that way. Squeeze one more right in there. I'm gonna put one of these in there.
It's on the red, on the edge.
You hear these guys roaring now? I think they figured out they don't have a queen now, and now they're trying to say, we're over here, we're over here.
Does that sound different than the roar they make when you put the queen back?
Pretty much the same, except that the roar when you put the queen back is real sudden. It's like the second you put it in there, they start.
Okay.
Where this kind of builds over time, where they're figuring out there's no queen here, and so they're starting to try and let her know where they are. So it's kind of, the only thing that's different is how it builds. It's unfortunate they don't have a more specific pheromone of but I think they figured the queen's pheromone is the thing that's added that tells the other bees the queen's over here, as opposed to queen, we're over here.
So since the queen is in that little cage, if you brought her over here just to tease them,
they might stop. They'd probably start a lot louder right at first, just because they know the queen's been missing and they're trying to let everybody know where she is. But then they'd probably stop shortly after that.
Hey, Michael, and these, they're kind of bowed a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we still put one in there, or is it just...
Well, we'll get one in there somewhere or another. Pretty sure, but we'll have to see what we got.
Once they have some work to do, then yes, they'll go off
to that one doesn't want to go. I need to get one more in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need one more.
so this cat brood that you're saying, Michael, he's just strong. These bees, since they're cats, will emerge and they'll start to become nurse bees.
Well, they won't until she starts laying.
Okay.
When they come out and there's nothing for them to do.
Okay, this
when
was
they emerge and there's nothing for
mixture
them to do,
of cat and open.
But when the
We
queen
need to put
comes
one more
out
in there,
and
right?
starts laying, then they'll convert. There will be some that'll be okay. You may have been whatever, and now you're a nurse bee.
Okay. For over here.
These are going to be mostly nurse bees.
Are we scooting them all this way?
All of them to the outside. These are the outside, those are the outside.
They'll
so
start developing a foraging force also. So you'll have, she's laying now, so they'll have nurse bees.
As tight as I can get them.
You don't want to split the brood foraging bees.
I don't want to fit one more in there. I got one more frame here that's brood.
Right now,
I'm going to put in there.
Said when you put all these
here,
the nurse bees are all going to stay over here with the queen because they've got work to do. All the foragers are going to come over here because they don't have
over.
Right, okay.
Now maybe we can get this one in here.
It looks like it narrows down.
They'll make a queen, and she'll do her thing. She'll hatch or emerge.
Now, the next thing for a cut down split is these guys I expect to make a bunch of honey, so I'm going to stack on at least 2 or 3 supers here.
Oh,
nice.
Do you do that all at once, or do you wait for them to fill one?
I do it now. I do it all. Well, if I got drawn comb, I do it all at once anyway. If I don't have drawn comb, I might still do it all at once, but but I might be pushing my luck more. But mostly, a lot of times I'm doing this in the out yard. I'm not coming back anytime soon, so I want a few supers on here, and then the next time I come out of it, put some more supers on here. I don't want to more than double their space usually. But since all the foragers are coming back here, I expect to crowd them up into the supers, so I could probably put about 3 on here and I'd be all right. This one, I wouldn't put more than 1 super on this one because they're going to lose all their foragers. And that's going to be a whole lot more space for them to take care of.
Yeah.
But they might actually make some honey, and I probably do need to put a super on here just so they don't run out of room. You can see there's a lot of bees over here right now, but the foragers haven't all ended up back over here yet. So that would be it. That would be a cut down split.
What about the queen?
That make more sense to people now?
Yep. He's going to release her into there.
Well, right? For the cut down split, I'd release her in there. But in a minute, I'm going to tell you something else, and we'll talk about how to set up that cell starter I was talking about a minute ago. So that's the cut down split. A couple of supers and lids.
So this is going to have more honey because they have more foragers.
Right.
And there's no queen right now.
Yeah, there's no foragers, and the reason there's more foragers is because there's no queen.
Right.
There's more foragers because there's no need to nurse. They don't need to be nurse bees, so they get recruited to forage.
How many boxes are you leaving for winter?
Well, typically four I would say for a strong hive. That's what you see here. That was 4, that one was 4, this one was 4, that one was 3 because it just wasn't that big of a colony.
Okay, so if you put 3 supers on here, you're only going to take 1 for extraction.
Well, I'm going to come back and put some more on after that.
Okay.
It's just that I don't want to give them too much because they got to guard it against the small hive beetles, whatever.
Yeah.
They've got a bunch of capped brood in here that's going to emerge in the next week or so, and then they're going to start having more bees, and then I could probably put 3 more on. So I might be up to here, you know, before long. I just don't want to give them all that at once.
Yeah.
I want to manage their space so they don't get overwhelmed trying to maintain it. But I'm being kind of, I mean, compared to what I would do earlier in the year up till now, that's, you know, adding 3 boxes to this is, that's a pretty major change in space. You know what I mean? Earlier I probably wouldn't do that much, but we're getting to where it's almost summer, you know, and the flow's almost here, and then I figure they'll fill these pretty quickly. And I don't want them to run out. They're going to be really busy putting away honey, and if they run out of room, then that's not going to help me much. As Michael Palmer says, they don't put honey in the supers when they're in the barn. So I want to get them on the hive, and I want to get them on the hive early enough they don't run out of room. Any questions about a cut down split?
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever put, like, when you put an empty box, say a super on there, do you ever put a partially filled 8-frame box on there? So would you ever put an 8-frame box on there that only had like 4 frames on it?
Never.
Never. Because then it opens up all the space. They're going to draw from all kinds of weird spaces.
They always prefer their own comb over foundation.
Right.
So if you leave them any empty space, they will build their own comb in that space.
Okay. That's
So I try never to have less than 9 frames in these 8-frame boxes, but I cheat with these. Give me a little more room, and these are narrow frames, but I never have less than 8.
Right. Okay.
What's the possibility that this hive right here will not build a queen?
Oh, pretty low, but they will build a queen. What the riskier part is, does she make it out, get mated, and get back and start laying? Because she could get eaten by a swallow, or hit by a truck, or literally hit by a truck, or whatever. That's the bigger risk. There's really no risk that they won't raise a queen. They will raise a queen because they know they're queenless. They'll raise a queen.
So if you were raising queens, you could just put a queen cell in there, right?
But I don't really want. I want them to be queenless. So I don't want to put a queen cell in there. I want them to be queenless. That's the whole point. I want them to be broodless so that all these nurse bees get recruited to forage. So I'm enforcing a brood break here for the purpose of increasing my honey production.
Because at the very least, it's going to take them 16 days. Plus, she's got a mate and everything else.
Well, actually, it's going to take them 12 days to have a virgin queen, and then she's got a mate and all that. So, you know, it's probably going to be 26 days from now before they have a laying queen. Okay. And that 26 days is 26 days, and then all of these, you know, emerge. That's 26 days that all these bees get recruited to forage.
Okay.
And so it maximizes that forage population.
Is this also a method of varroa control? Since you have a brood break?
It is going to create a brood break, and a brood break is going to help with varroa, yes.
Okay.
That's not why I'm doing it, but yeah, that will be a side effect, yeah.
Do you try to do this then kind of right before the flow, or what?
Yes, 2 weeks before the flow is when you want to do this.
Okay.
2 weeks
now,
before the flow.
You can't, you know, you obviously can't get that perfect. So what you do is you keep a diary every year of what blooms when and when the main flow hits. And as Timothy pointed out, if you've got a observation hive, you can see all that nice white wax in there. And then you know when the main flow is, because you look in there and they're building a whole bunch of nice white wax. That's probably the main flow. Because all of a sudden they may build a little bit of white wax. Those fins we scraped off are white wax, but you don't see a lot of white wax yet. The main flow will be a lot of white wax and a lot of traffic, and you'll figure it out if you just keep mapping it. And I try to map it from pick something that blooms really early that you know and it's really distinct, and preferably like whatever's the first main nectar flow. I mean, my red maples will bloom in, who knows, February, March, all these over here, but they're really inconsistent, and it's hard to judge anything by them because it just depends on the weather. If it's a warm day, they bloom. If it's not a warm day, they don't. But warm days or not, based more on how much the earth's warming up, the wild plums around here will bloom, and I can usually judge based on those if things are running early or things are running late. And then there's other things that bloom later, and if you keep mapping those, and pretty soon I know when the plums bloom, and I know when the black locust blooms. It was blooming, but I think the wind blew all the blossoms off. But because there was a white all back through there where those black locusts were just a couple of days ago. But if I know when all those things bloom, then I can get an idea this year whether the flow is going to be early or it's going to be late, and I can make a better guess. Because you're always guessing. It's not here yet, you know. But you can get pretty good at guessing. And your target is to try and get it 2 weeks before the flow. If you mess up and you do it right at the flow, it'll still be beneficial. It just won't be quite as good as 2 weeks before. Does that make sense?
And the reason you squeeze 9 in an 8 is again so to compress the available space, increase your population so that they can fight all the pests.
There's a whole bunch of reasons, but yeah, that's one of them. One of the reasons is you have a higher density of bees. They can cover more brood. Part of it too is that these 8-frame boxes have an excess space. It doesn't. If you get the Man Lake ones, you can actually squeeze 9 frames in them right out of the box. They're 14 inches instead of these are 13 3/4. The Man Lake ones are actually 14, so there's actually 1 3/8 inches left over. When you split that, that's quite a bit of gap.
Okay.
So that's another reason I'd rather fill them out than have that big gap, because then. There's one right there, I think, that I can show you. This is it that one or this one? It's this one. Yeah, this one. There's this big mess over on that side where there was an excess space, and somehow they ended up over here, and they just filled that with a bunch of crap because it was just a bunch of excess space. So
why did some people put 9? Like I've got 10 frame boxes, and some people say I only put 9 frames in my 10-frame box. What is their reason?
The theory is that they're going to get more space between them, and they're less likely to roll a queen. The reality is they space them wider apart and they get more uneven comb because they build the honey out thicker, but they never build the brood out thicker, and so you end up with this comb that's more uneven. Okay. You can see some of this is uneven even when I have it 9 frames to a box, but with 9 frames to a 10-frame box, now we're talking about 38mm spacing, 1.5 inch spacing, and they build even more uneven comb.
Right.
And to me, you're more likely to roll the queen because now you got this comb that sticks out all over the place.
Roll the queen.
Well, if you're trying to pull a frame out and the surface of this comb bumps the surface of a comb over here, and you catch a bee in there, that's called rolling them. Rolling them, and if you roll the queen, she might end up dead.
So the theory is that they would roll the queen, damage queen, whatever.
Well, their theory is that they're less likely to because there's more space in them.
Right.
My theory is you're more likely to because now you have an uneven comb.
Gotcha.
But isn't that also for honey? Something that's going to be a honey super that they want like 9 fat combs as opposed to 10.
That's a different issue. But there are people who run 9 frames in the brood nest.
Broods, yeah. Because a lot of people out by me that have running 10 frames. A lot of the people in the big class, and one of the guys that we've been talking to a lot, he's always saying that he puts 9 frames in his 10-frame box.
I think the other thing that happens over time is the propolis builds up on,
right,
and it's harder and harder to get 10 frames in the box.
I've been
without scraping all the propolis.
It would be easier with 9, but I'm still doing it.
But now the supers, it makes really good sense to do 9 because the bees tend to want to build honeycomb fatter anyway, and now you're going with their instincts to build fatter honeycomb by giving them wider spaced ones in the supers, and they're so much easier to uncap because they stick out. You can run right down the top bar and just get it all, and there's no low spots to come back and have to clean out with a fork or whatever it is you're using for your low spots. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that was a cut down split. I don't really want to do a cut down split. What I really want is a really nice cell finisher like I was talking about before. So but it starts out with the same basic premise that we're going to age grade everything, right? So what we've got now is this box is mostly, actually it ended up being mostly empty frames because we took all those odds and ends and we put them in here.
Right.
And there's a little bit of cap brood in here that'll emerge very shortly. So what I think I'm going to do is put the queen in this box, okay? Because then, I'm trying to maximize that she has a place to lay.
Oh, okay.
Repeat that again.
Well, this is mostly empty comb, or it's empty frames.
All those things we set to the side here, right?
Yeah. Some of them were just empty comb, didn't have anything in them. Some of them are empty frames that aren't drawn yet. but I think I'm going to put the queen in here so they can finish drawing those. She'll have someplace to lay. And there's a little bit of capped brood. It'll emerge pretty quickly, and she'll have someplace to lay there. So.
Versus this box.
So what, I'm talking about doing an entirely different thing here.
Oh,
When
I
cut
see.
down split
Okay.
now. Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about setting up a cell finisher.
Okay.
So what I really want for the cell finisher is I want to put the honey down on the bottom just so I don't have to lift it again. It doesn't really matter where it is, just so I don't have to lift it. And I'm gonna, but I don't want them to be without it. They may need it for raising brood and whatever. So I'm going to put it on the bottom, and then I'm going to put an excluder on it, and then I'm going to put this box with the queen in it and an excluder on that, and then I'm going to do open brood and then capped brood. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm going to rearrange all this.
Excluders?
Yeah, can you give me a couple of excluders?
So we're just gonna move everything on top over here.
And I'll probably put it at the old location here. So
Oh yeah.
the honey's on the bottom. The honey's on the bottom there mostly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were only, there only ended up being one of the brood, right?
Yeah, they think.
Yeah, the bottom one's almost all honey, and this one's a mixture of honey and brood, right?
Yep. I think it's brood this end. It's all honey on them.
Okay, so I think I'll just set these boxes over so they're out of my way, and we'll set that box over so it's out of my way. And I gotta remember what's what though while I do all this. This is mostly empty. That's where I want to put the queen. So maybe I should just set it someplace else, like right there. And then this is mostly capped. So that's going to go on top. I'll just set it right here. And then this is mostly,
As is.
the bottom one's mostly honey.
Yeah.
So let's just set that on top of this box here. Just set that box on top of that box.
Queen or no?
Right next door.
Set it right there. It doesn't have to be square or anything, we're just juggling. And we're going to put that one over here.
Crushing the queen.
So now we're setting up a cell starter. So I'm going to put the honey on the bottom. And because I don't have a way for the drones to get out otherwise, I have to make sure there's some way for them to get out.
Towards me.
It's got to go
Yeah.
back about an inch and a half.
Oh yeah.
In fact, you might cheat just a little so I can make sure I got a place for the drones to get out. I think I got a place here. But
Skew it a little bit.
I just go back a little. Right there. So the drone can get out there. Just want to make sure a drone can get out there. And then I'm going to put a excluder on. Probably I should scrape all this excess off because it's going to get stuck to that excluder pretty badly. They always tend to burr the excluders up anyway, so. I hate this. It's a sharp one. I don't want a sharp one. It's cutting my frame. Oh, who thinks these should be sharp?
Okay.
I saw some article in
Okay.
Bee Culture the other day on how to sharpen your hive tool. I wanted to say, no, don't sharpen it. It's a horrible idea. Sharpen your hive tool and it digs into everything. I don't want it to dig into everything. I want it to scrape it off without digging into it. And I'm scraping this off because I'm putting an excluder on. The excluder is going to get burred down anyway. I don't need to make it worse. I normally don't bother to scrape all this stuff off real often, but whenever I think it's going to cause me more problems, I get it out of my way. And in this case, I think it's going to cause me some problems, so I need a little smoke. I'm going to keep messing with them here. These are so tight. I don't know why that's stuck. These have been pretty good. I'm impressed.
It was the complete smoker with the insert?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tall, a big one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Scott, do you have one?
Oh, bees.
Or the bees above me?
You're on your veil.
Oh.
No, I ordered it yesterday.
Oh, did you? Oh,
yeah. That's why Cinderella was teasing me. Did you get the protection plan?
I wondered why you were saying that.
Can you collect on it if you get stung? Is that the deal?
Yeah, or burned.
Or burned?
I'll still get burned.
More work than I really wanted to do, but I think it'll pay off in the long run. Otherwise they'll be scraping it off the excluder eventually. Or burning it off or something. I really do like the wood bound ones. And I think Rossman sells wood bound 8-frame ones, but at the time I bought these I couldn't find any.
I think Kelly does.
Good. Well, the wood bound ones, see, you can see that's almost sitting on the top bar, so you know they're going to propolize that down. The wood bound ones aren't a lot better, but they're a little better because at least they put enough space that instead of that they build Burkholm in there, and Burkholm breaks easier to propolize.
Oh, yeah.
But they still always seem to screw it up. But the other thing about the wood bound ones is you can see they're on there, so you don't accidentally leave one on in the winter. You can see that there's a excluder on there, but especially if you paint them a different color, because it's got this little space that sticks up. These are a little harder to tell. You may make the mistake of leaving one on, and in my climate, the queen will get stuck when the cluster goes through the excluder. She'll get stuck left behind. They don't know she can't get through. They figure she'll follow them. Okay, so let's see if I can remember what everything is now. That was honey. That was mostly empty. This is mostly
honey and
open brew. So this is the mostly empty. This is where I was going to put the queen, right? So I'll put the mostly empty here.
How long does it take them to draw a frame, an empty frame with wax?
Oh, in a flow, a day.
A day.
Not in a flow, never. It just depends. If there's some stuff coming in, then they'll go slower. If there's a lot of stuff coming in, they'll go faster. Depends on how many bees end up with a stomach full of nectar and nowhere to put it. And then they'll start drawing comb pretty fast.
Okay.
Is that because they're actually inside their bodies converting that nectar into wax and secreting it out their wax glands?
Yes. Anytime it sits in their stomach, it starts secreting out as wax. They have no options on that matter. That's just what happens.
So is their wax glands connected to their honey stomach?
No, they just digest it.
Okay, so it gets digested and then it's secreted as wax.
Yeah. It sits in their stomach, then they start digesting it, and then it turns into wax. Anytime there's an excess that sits there, it doesn't go anywhere.
Kind of like keep drinking water and it turns into sweat.
Yeah, or urine or something. It always turns into something. It's got to go somewhere.
And then, but they have two separate stomachs. One that they hold, it's called a honey stomach, but really they're holding nectar in it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's storage. They don't exactly have two stomachs, but they do have a separated, how do I say that? They have a honey crop they can fill full of nectar and then spit it back up and not digest it in theory.
Yeah.
But eventually they start digesting it no matter what. But then they have, if they open up the pyloric valve at the bottom of that and let it into their intestines, then they start digesting it in their intestines.
And then it becomes fuel for them.
And then it becomes fuel for them, yeah. So in a way, they're not that different from us, but they're a little different from us in that the honey crop was made to be a two-way street, you know. they put it in there to store it, get where they're going, and then spit it back up.
But once it's gone into their digestive stomach, it can't
There's no
go
going
back
back.
up.
Yeah,
It's a
there's no
one-way
going back
valve.
at that point. Yeah.
So honey is not bee vomit.
Right.
Or bee
Not
poop.
really.
Right.
Yeah, somebody was calling it bee poop or bee pee, or I thought you're not helping the the image of honey. This is somebody selling honey, which is why I didn't get it. But
Oh, brother.
and, it's not, so it's kind of inaccurate anyway. Bee vomit, you kind of make a case for it. You know, it went in their mouth, it came back out their mouth, but but still, it's more like
Bee spit.
yeah, it's more like bee spit. That would be a more accurate one, maybe.
What's frustrating is they made a few children's books about that are called like bee vomit or whatever, and so like I'll go give presentations to kids, and they're already calling it that, and I'll say, well, that's not really. I don't like to promote that only just because it makes for kids less likely for them to want to taste it or you know turn them off of
It's
it.
their
you want some
grocery
bee
bag.
poop?
They go to the store and they put it in a bag, and either they take it out of the bag or they
Kind
eat
of
it.
is.
That's a great metaphor.
That's great.
Grocery bag.
Okay, so now I got the queen between these two excluders. Now everybody remember, this is not a cut down split now. We're doing a finisher.
Right.
Right.
Don't get the two muddled up in your head. I
Except
don't
she's
want you
actually
to
still.
Still in her.
Yeah,
You
so
wanna-
I need to put the queen in here now.
So this is a finisher. Okay, I thought you'd called it self-starter.
No, this is the finisher.
Self-finisher.
But the idea of this starter is that or this finisher is it's set up in such a way to make it easy for me to start a starter. But
Because all the nurse bees will be at the top.
yeah, because all the nurse bees will be in that one box with all the open brood. Eventually, once this gets pretty well age graded. She's still in there? I don't see her. She must have run down when I didn't see her.
Oh, here we go with that again. But wait, you marked her though, right?
Yeah, I marked her. I thought I would see her.
The
but I
double?
didn't see her.
Double yellow?
Yeah, I put two yellow dots.
So the bottom box is mostly honey.
Then empty.
Yeah, this is honey. This is empty and a little bit of open brood and a little bit of cap brood.
And an excluder on both.
And then we've got an excluder on both sides so she can get out. I kind of, you know what I really need, and I didn't do, is there's going to be, eventually there'll be drones emerging here and they need to be able to get out. So if I had a box with a hole in it, which I'd hate having boxes with holes
That
in
one-
it, but I
box
seem
with
to
a
have
hole
That's
in
got
it.
the screen over there on that
On the
side.
bottom one, it has a
Yeah,
screen.
that one has it.
This one here, everybody said it's going
This one has a hole already.
to
Which one does?
The
The
very
bottom
bottom.
one. It has a screen covering it.
Yeah, and this one does too, right?
Yeah, but the one on the bottom is a hole.
But the one on the bottom's already there.
I wouldn't have to move the bottom one. I think I'd rather have them in here, because then the drones can get out this hole here in the front. Besides, it kind of was their entrance before. So I'm going to transfer all these over here.
Can you look for the queen while you're doing it?
Sure, why not? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll look at each frame. I'm pretty sure she must have run down in there because I never saw her fly, and I never saw her go anywhere. I didn't see her.
Someone got a hive told you to clean up the edge of this bottom.
And she's going to be on the last frame you take out of there.
How do you know?
Little queen finding.
It is the little queen vine, that's right.
So how are you letting the drones out without letting the queen out?
But there's a hole in this box, and there's a gap right here, and
She
then
will
everything
go
else on
out
top
that
entrance.
box to try to go in another one. Queen excluder will still keep her in this box.
Yeah, she won't leave the hive. I mean, I say that, I've seen a queen outside the hive once in 45 years where she was wandering around outside for reasons I don't know, but I've never had one go outside to jump queen excluder.
He wants the drones in this second box to be able to get out. So, because there's a queen excluder now between that first and second. So.
Okay.
So he's going to move over there and into that.
That's over there.
Okay.
She should be easy to spot with two yellow dots, huh? These guys all of a sudden know they're queenless. Hear them?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
They're wondering what the heck happened here. We had a queen a second ago. I'm sure of it. I smelled her.
This is gonna have to get tighter right here. I can't quite reach that, or we won't get all 9 frames in there. That was a little better.
That's what they control my on the bottom.
Well, the reason the queen ends up on the last frame you look for is that she's always running away from
That's true.
the
She runs
activity.
away from the light. Yeah. So she's always running to the next frame as you pull this frame out. she's
Right,
running
so
over to the
then
next
that's
one.
why she ends up on the last frame.
That's a fact. Actually, one of the tricks somebody said, I don't remember, maybe it was Michael Palmer or somebody was saying once you get to this point, you just spread all these out like this. And then she can't jump from frame to frame once you've separated them. In fact, you could assume she's still trying to do the jump from frame to frame and then look at the last one here, right?
Here she is right here on this frame.
Okay. I was going to say, there's a bunch of these here.
Yeah.
That looks like a place she likely was, but
Yeah,
that would have been right next to
there's
that.
the two
so-
dots. She's coming towards the top of the frame now. She's going to be in that corner right there where your
I see her.
hand is.
Right after your middle finger.
Everybody see the double dot
Oh,
queen?
yeah, there she is.
See how many drones are in here? If I don't give them some way out, they'll all be trapped in here because they won't be able to get out of the excluder.
Say it again, Michael, since you actually didn't fully understand.
Anytime a queen can't get through, a drone can't get through because they're even bigger.
Right, but what I'm wondering if the drones can get through, you have no concerns about her leaving.
She's not going to leave. No, she lives here.
Well, but so she's not going to get out of, you're not worried about her getting out of that box is what I mean, away from where you want to keep her. So she'll just stay in there?
Sure.
He's just trying
The only
to
way
keep her
she's-
from going into those boxes.
The only way she's got to get to another box is to go out the entrance and then go back in some other entrance, and
Okay,
she's
and
not
she
going to do
doesn't,
that.
it's not in her behavior to do that.
Yeah, queens just don't. I've never seen a queen do that in what is this? 43 years. never seen
Kind of
them
like
do
you're
it.
out at home. I mean, the queen could leave if she wanted
That's
to.
true.
There's nothing keeping her in, but this is keeping her from going to another box.
Yeah, usually if the queen excluder is on for the honeysuckers at top, she could use the front entrance.
Okay, so
Right.
we decided this was mostly,
I don't think the bees will let it.
that's
the
mostly
one.
capped. This is mostly open, right?
Yes.
I'm going to go mostly open next. And then I'm going to go mostly capped. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a
brush.
brush.
Here.
Good.
Crunch.
Crunchy crunch.
I can only help the fast ones. So we'll knock them all off. So I got some on here. This was our super. Now we got a cell finisher setup. Because I got the queen confined down here. I could put the cells up here. They're far enough from there. They won't tear them down. And the age grading will help me in the future, because I'll know this box with the queen in it, that's where, in a week, that's where all the open brood's going to be and where all the nurse bees are going to be. So all I have to do is go and find that one double marked queen, get her out. I can shake all the bees out of there, do my swarm box, and then take this box, which will then be empty because it's capped right now, so they will have emerged by then. Put it down here, put the queen in there, take that box that I shook all the nurse bees off and put it here, because that's where my open brood's going to be. So this will be empty. This is right, what we have right now is empty open brood, capped brood. In a week, before I rearrange them, then this will be open brood, this will be capped brood, and this will be empty. So we just juggle them back around where they were, back to empty, open, capped again.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Soon you're doing just that box will all be, it'll, instead of being a mishmash,
next week all I have to do is juggle boxes. I won't mess with looking at them at all. I won't even look through them again. I'll just juggle boxes now.
Will the bottom box be depleted, or what will happen to the bottom box?
Oh, well, I get down to this one and I start shaking my bees out. I might check that one just for weight, see what we got. If it's empty, then I may as well put it somewhere else. But meanwhile, every time I find it honey again, I'll probably keep moving it down to the bottom just so I don't have to lift it. I just don't want to lift it all the time. The bees would like to store it overhead. I'm just trying to get it out of my way. But
you'll juggle boxes, but you still have to find the queen.
Yes, I have to find the queen every time. But I only got one 8-frame box to look through, so
right.
It should go pretty quick.
Put her in that clip, set it aside, juggle your boxes, and then put it in the one you want.
Exactly. And I may have to add another box now and then, or harvest or something. I have a tendency, if I'm running this and I have more than a whole box of honey, to take that box and put it on some other strong hive just to get it out of my way so I don't have to lift it anymore. But I like to keep a box of honey on there because, you know, we could get rain for a week and they might need some storage. There's a lot of bees in here. So I like to have a box of honey. I don't really need 2 boxes of honey, so I'd probably give it to something else just to get it out of my way. Does that make sense? Man, those were pretty well behaved considering how long we messed with them.
And now the smoker is staying lit, right when we're done.
Of course, we don't need it now. That's Murphy's Law of smokers, right? So I need to word that really well so we can send it into the Murphy's Law people. Murphy's Laws of smokers. Smokers will never go out when you don't need them.
Yeah, I know, I'm chilly.
I keep thinking the sun's going to come out and it'll warm up, but that hasn't happened yet. What time is it? I can't get my watch out. It's hooked on something. 7:12. Okay. I suppose we can go